Okay, so I just literally came from watching Rise of the Beasts, and I watched at the Golden Village cinemas or theaters at Vivo City out here in Singapore. Man, those are great cinemas. And if you're ever in Singapore, you should try and watch a movie here. It's amazing. And compared to the ones we have in Manila, I mean, no comparison. And it's much cheaper, actually. So, Rise of the Beasts. Man, I came into the cinema zero expectations. I thought the movie was gonna tank after the last night. I mean, considering the fact that this was done in tandem with Bayhem Productions, Paramount Pictures, Paramount Studios, and Hasbro, I honestly did not expect anything from this movie. I thought I was gonna just doze off in this movie, but lo and behold, the movie wasn't as bad as I thought, okay? I'm not trying to be sarcastic here or anything like that. It's kind of a mixed bag in a sense. There were a lot of parts I liked, but there are also a lot of parts I did not like. So I'll reserve my final rating at the end of this video. It's gonna be a quick and dirty review, so I do apologize if I'll be all over the place. And spoiler alert, I'm going to be mentioning a lot of things that happen in the movie. So if you haven't seen the movie, this is your chance to back out and just pause the video and watch it after you've seen the movie. But if you want to be spoiled, watch on. Okay, so let's talk about the story. Story and plot. Well, amazingly, it was simple enough. It borrowed a lot of influences from previous movies, particularly Revenge of the Fallen. And I think that's the reason why I'm kind of into this movie, because Revenge of the Fallen, despite what a lot of people are saying about that film, was my absolute favorite Michael Bay Transformers film. Revenge of the Fallen was just really jump-started my passion to collecting Transformers again, and it has a special place in my heart for some weird reason. So Revenge of the Fallen was pretty good to me, and this one kind of mimics that, and I get it. They jump from one place to another. The characters are very similar to Rise of the Fallen. You have a character that's like the Fallen, some world destroying character, a threat to the destruction of the world, to Earth. Unicron, obviously you've seen that in the trailers. No spoilers there, but in Revenge of the Fallen was the Fallen. It was going to suck the Earth dry. Same with Unicron. And then you've got somebody like a servant to the Fallen, Megatron. And here you have, instead of Megatron or Galvatron, you have Scourge. And they borrowed a lot from the 1986 movie, saying that, you know, Unicron's herald instead of Galvatron or Megatron was Scourge. So there's a lot of mixed. You know, in the Philippines, we call it chop suey, okay, or chop suey, but we call it in the Philippines chop suey because it's all mixed. It's like all things they tried to bring together. And I think the franchise was more successful with this movie compared to The Last Night, because they kept the plot simple. There was a big threat in the past, and now it found itself in the present day, which is 1994. And they have to stop the threat. It's not the Decepticons, it's a brand new threat. The Autobots band together. And, you know, there's a lot of heartfelt moments, you know, about struggling, about never giving up, doing it together, and all that cheesy stuff. But surprisingly, the plot was simple enough. The movie just escalated from one scene to another seamlessly. There wasn't a dull moment, and there wasn't a cumbersome or tiring moment. I was so surprised that there was just enough drama, just enough corniness, just enough action that it didn't bore you or make you tired of watching the movie. So, simple enough plot, beat the bad guys, save the world, join forces, you know, do everything together, join forces with the humans, maximals, and Autobots, save the world. Very simple, and I like that. But the whole story felt like, again, it still felt like a bunch of kids just put together the toys and started playing. Because if you've been watching Transformers for a long time, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get what's going on. You're gonna get some idea of why there are Transformers on Earth. But if you're uninitiated and you're not part of the mythology, you don't have no idea what Transformers are, particularly the live action films, you're gonna be wondering throughout the film, like, how are these Transformers here? Did they use a ship to get here? How are they stranded? Why do the Terracons suddenly appear out of nowhere? And how have the Maximals stayed hidden for a long... I mean, there's so many questions in your mind if you're not into the Transformers movie, because if you're into this whole franchise, you can easily justify it as, oh, they crash landed here years ago, they did, you know what I'm saying. So that kind of thing, if you're not into Transformers, that's gonna be a downer. And I like what Spider-Man did. If you've seen Across the Spider-Verse, they have these small snippets, these small backstory, flashback scenes that kind of give the person who's uninitiated into the Spider-Verse world, oh, okay, he's that character. Okay, it is very quick. It's not annoying and it's not confusing for the newcomers. It's not annoying for the oldies. So that kind of thing was sort of missing. It would just be a little bit more CGI, a little bit more budget. They could have made that into a seamless thing, and if you're new to the franchise, okay, you get it. So that's one thing. Now second, the writing. The dialogue for the humans was amazingly good. There's a lot of heartfelt moments. I honestly thought the humans were going to be annoying, but they're not. They're so relatable. You want to root for them. Amazingly, I was shocked. I spent the whole film trying to hate the humans, but I couldn't. You know, even the lead characters, they were so relatable, and they amazingly acted okay, above average. I was completely in shock at how well I was rooting for the humans. The annoying dialogue is when the robots talk, when the Transformers talk. It was a hodgepodge of these corny lines, these cheesy lines that Michael Bay just plucked from his previous movies, and you know, the novelty of those lines were just gone for me. I spent half of the time in the movie just laughing by myself. Everyone was like almost in tears when Optimus Prime was speaking. When I'm like the only one laughing in the theater because of how corny and cheesy the lines were. I'm sorry, because I've heard those lines over and over, and for them to just blurt them out because of nothing good to say, it just sounded funny at that time. So dialogue for the robots kind of was corny and sucky, but dialogue for the humans were actually brilliant. So I'm not sure if there were different writers writing for the humans, different writers writing for the Transformers. I don't know. So, okay, plot, script, okay. Action scenes. Action scenes were actually not bad. I mean, if the main sole purpose of this movie was to sell toys, they're gonna sell a lot of toys because of that action. Action scenes were pretty good. Some violent ones, but there were just enough action scenes. The duration was just enough to engage you and not bore you to death. If you watch The Last Night, action scenes were just repetitive. You were just, oh my God, when is this thing gonna end? But with this one, action scenes were just, there was a climaxing moment, and it felt like they did enough just to keep you hooked without boring you or tiring you or wearing you out. So good job on the action scenes. If you're planning to sell toys, I'm pretty sure Hasbro and Takara Tomy are gonna make a killing selling these expensive, overly priced Transformers toys. Okay, what else? What else did I like? Oh, let's talk about the characters. I do love the humans. I'm not gonna talk too much about them. I'm gonna ruin it for a lot of you, but I love the humans. Let's talk about the Transformers, because this is about Transformers. The Terracons. Terracons were actually pretty good. I was surprised. I thought they would be just, whimsical. They would just be afterthoughts, but no. They did have some personality. I actually felt they were a threat, so okay. What I did not like were the Autobots. We'll talk about the Maximals last, but the Autobots, because you've seen the characters on and on and on, you have a picture of what these Autobots should be. Let's start with Optimus Prime. Optimus Prime was downright annoying, and it's like, okay, I know he was trying to be heroic and all that, but every time I see Optimus Prime, my archetype is my peg is always the G1 Optimus Prime. He was this heroic leader of the Autobots who was wise, and But every time I watch the Bayverse films, Optimus Prime is just such a dumb ass. I'm sorry. He refuses to hear reason. He's always against the humans for some weird reason. I get it. He's new on Earth for 7 years, but he has the matrix of leadership. Optimus Prime is supposed to be imbued with the wisdom of all the primes. He's supposed to be wise. When you talk about Optimus Prime, he's supposed to be somebody like Steve Rogers combined with He-Man, combined with Luke Skywalker, or you know what I'm saying? He's a guy who you could depend on. You know he's gonna save the day, and he's supposed to be wise beyond his years. But in this movie, he lacked so much wisdom, and I think they did it on purpose so that Optimus Primal could teach him a lesson, which I honestly did not enjoy. I've always had this idea of who Optimus Prime should be, and I did not like that. That he was like a headless chicken going around just bashing people, and he's a Prime, and it took him to the end of the movie to show what he's made of. I hated that. I hate that when he's a Prime. He should beat up the Terrorcons easily, but okay. Bumblebee was sort of like a side character. Bumblebee and Optimus Prime felt like mascots in this movie. So Bumblebee, they did the reverse. Instead of killing Optimus Prime in Revenge of the Fallen, in this movie they killed off Bumblebee, and I did warn you guys of spoilers. So they killed Bumblebee, and obviously he's going to be resurrected. Obviously he's going to be Deus Ex Machina type of resurrection. So Bumblebee was I'm indifferent about him. I could care less if he was there. He wasn't there now, and I get the fact that they had to kill him because Mirage was like the new Bumblebee. And let's talk about Mirage for a while. Mirage is annoying as heck. I honestly do not like Mirage as a character. So I've just lessened the desire to purchase the figure, but I will still probably get it though. But annoying as heck. He has his redeeming qualities, but I did not like Mirage. In the end, yeah, okay, he redeems himself. He's got heart and soul, okay, but not really my favorite. RC was one of my favorite. I thought she was pretty cool. She's a mix of G1 RC and Prime RC. I liked her downright 100%. I love that character. And then you've got the Volkswagen Beetle. You've got Wheeljack. That was just I honestly have no idea why they even put him in there. He's like Jolt, absolutely useless character. Maybe they needed to put a Latino or Latinx Transformer. Okay, whatever. But maybe next time they can put a Filipino Transformer. That would be cool. Okay, basically Autobots, except for RC, I honestly did not like them. Now let's talk about the Maximals. I think the Maximals were the highlight of this movie. Obviously, Rise of the Beasts. It has to be the Beasts. They were great. Cheetor, Rhinox, side characters, but they were okay. Air Razor, I think, stole the show. She was amazing, voiced by the amazing Michelle Yeoh. Great character. My Optimus Primal, wow, he's the new Optimus Prime, I think, in this movie. And they were trying to push him as a new Optimus Prime, trying to make you buy more of the transforming gorillas. They were great. My only gripe about the Maximals is they waited to the last quarter of the movie to show the Maximals. They didn't transform the Maximals enough. It's like they've been there halfway through their scenes, they haven't maximized. And the first attack of the Terrorcons, they could have easily subdued the Terrorcons on the first attack if they had maximized. But no, they save maximizing at the end of the movie. And maybe it's because the Earth's, just like the show, the Earth's electromagnetic field is preventing them from staying too long in maximized mode. If you're watching the film and you don't know about that, you're gonna wonder, like, why did they just maximize sooner? Also, Air Razor did not maximize. That was annoying. So, if at all, my biggest gripe was too little screen time, too little action, too little maximize features for the Maximals. and to think they're the featured robots in this movie. So come on, man. They wasted so much with Mirage and I don't know, Optimus Prime, but they forgot about what this movie was all about. It's the Rise of the Beast. They should have spent more than half of the movie showing off the Maximals, but I guess the producers, director felt that they would have looked one-sided. They would have looked very static. They just turned from beast to robot and all. But I honestly felt they should have shown more of the Maximals. Okay, so great characters, mostly great characters. Script was okay. Oh, the way it got resolved. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of Deus Ex Machina. Like, it just kind of just resolves instantly, and you kind of expected it. You know, it's like a bunch of kids playing, and they one final move, everything gets destroyed, and the good guys win. Okay, it wasn't bad. But I wish it could have been done better. And instead of those corny, cheesy lines between Optimus Prime, Optimus Primal, between Sonic or Mirage. I mean, they even made an Iron Man suit for the lead character. I mean, come on. He is a little corny, but all that. Okay, so enough of that. Movie overall, okay. So the end of the movie, you get the final scene. The lead character is you know, he's going for a job interview, and you get this clandestine, shady kind of CIA agent, and you know there's going to be a twist, right? But throughout that scene, I honestly thought it was going to be Sector 7. I honestly thought when he gave his card to Miguel, he would open it and it would say Sector 7, and I was shocked. I literally screamed in the theater, "What?" when it showed G.I. Joe. I thought it was a joke that they were planning a G.I. Joe Transformers spin-off, but I think it's definitely happening with the success of this film. This one's gonna be very successful, and I think it's gonna happen. G.I. Joe and Transformers. I mean, I just hope they borrow a lot from the comic books, but that's not gonna happen. But I was definitely, genuinely shocked it was G.I. Joe. So a lot of things to look forward to. G.I. Joe and Transformers were my jam when I was growing up as a kid. Very, very excited for that. So, what did I think of the film? I felt like, you know, it was okay. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. And I kind of enjoyed watching it. Mainly because it kind of reminded me of Revenge of the Fallen. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think Rise of the Beasts would have benefited had they made it into a 10 or an 8 episode series on Netflix or on Paramount or whatever, instead of a 2 hour, 7 minute film. Because it was just, if you do it in episodic format, 8 episodes or even 6 episodes, you'll get to flesh out the backstories, why they're there. You know, you get more character development. I think 8 episodes would have been nice. Each one 40 minutes. It's just me, but I think maybe because we're so used to Netflix now and Disney Plus and Prime. But I think this particular story would have benefited had it been 8 episodes. So that's just my take. Very rough and dirty take on Rise of the Beast. My rating is, I honestly was ready to give it a 2 out of 10 or a 1 out of 10, but I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. It surprised me at how well it did suck, and at the same time I felt like there were a lot of annoying things about the movie, but it's definitely a good watch. Not as good as Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, but definitely better than The Last Night, than Dark of the Moon, than Age of Extinction. I think this movie is in the top 3 of the Bay films. I mean, the first one is always going to be the best. My favorite is going to be Revenge of the Fallen. This is going to be a very close 3rd or 2nd in my book. I think it's going to be my 2nd. So it's going to be Rise of the Beasts in 2nd. Obviously, Revenge of the Fallen is 1st. And then Transformers, the first movie, is going to be 3rd. That's how this movie shocked me. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you guys think. Have you seen the movie? Do you want to see the movie? Let me know what your thoughts are about the film. hit me up in the comments, and as always, hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any of my latest video reviews. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.